Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining in for our second open day at Polaris. First of all, I would like a big thank you to Marisa. That was such a cute presentation and very informative tips for kids. My name is Gaby. I'm a counselor at Polaris and I work mostly with adolescents and young adults. And in fact, I would like to dedicate this presentation, this session, for all the teens out there who are watching. I would like to give some tips on how to improve your mental and your physical well-being right now during this difficult time. So basically, as I mentioned, it has been quite a difficult time for everyone out there, especially for the teens. There has been a disruption in their daily life and in their routine, and that has brought about a lot of feelings, a lot of different emotions. Um, Teens were used to, all of you out there, the teens, you were used to having that routine of going to school every day, waking up at a particular time, and then possibly going to private lessons or going for hobbies or going for sports. And all of a sudden, the schools closed down, all of the sports centers and any hobbies that you used to do closed down. And you might not have been, we weren't actually prepared for it physically or mentally or psychologically. And it has left quite a bit of an impact on all you teens out there. Even the fact of going to school. I know that most of you used to grumble about going to school, but I'm sure that most of you actually miss it right now. The fact that you go to school and you see your classmates and you have that time to discuss and to do the lessons that you like and to learn something and to talk with your teachers, and all of a sudden you're stuck at home, and maybe you might be doing some classes online, but it's not the same as going to school and meeting your classmates and having break together. Also, there have been social distancing measures, so I know that most of you were looking forward to the weekend to meet your friends and to go out, and all of a sudden you can't do that anymore. Staying home is possibly very difficult for you. Many of you had very busy schedules, and now all of a sudden you're stuck at home and not having much to do and not knowing what to do. Also, as I mentioned, some of you have had lessons and have had classworks and lectures from home online, and there has been quite a lot of stress as well regarding that. Many of you have a lot of lessons and a lot of work to do, and it's not like you're in class and you actually can put up your hand and ask something. So it's a totally different thing, it's a totally new thing, and a totally different challenge for all of you out there. And one disappointment, not one, actually, one of the many disappointments is that some of you out there might have missed important milestones in their life, such as graduating from Form 5 or graduating from college or proms or special birthdays, maybe 18th birthdays or lucky birthdays or parties. So it has been quite tough on many of you. And all these have brought about feelings of frustration, the fact that we can't do much about it and we don't have much control over it has brought about a lot of frustration. The fact that you're missing out on so much has brought a lot of frustration. Some of you teens out there might be feeling anxious and worried about the situation, especially about the fact that we don't know how long this is going to last and the effects of it, and maybe you don't know what you're going to do regarding exams yet and how it's all going to happen next year when you get back to school. So yes, everything is new for you guys out there, so for everyone out there. So it might have brought about anxiety and worry. Some of you might be feeling disconnected and possibly isolated as well. Even though, thank goodness we have social media and we can connect with our friends through video chats and our family. it's still not the same as seeing your friends and your family face to face. So some of you might be feeling, yes, that disconnection and that isolation. You might also be feeling upset and sad about the whole situation and about the fact that you're stuck at home and you don't have much options. I've also realized that many people are feeling nostalgic. In fact, every time I'm on social media, there are people posting pictures of their past and what they were doing a year ago and what they were doing a couple of months ago. So, yes, many people have been feeling nostalgic, bored. Okay, I'm still working with adolescents even online right now, and that is one of the biggest feelings that you've been experiencing, boredom. And I'm going to give you tips very soon on how you can help out with that boredom. You can help yourself out and maybe even friends or family members. You might also be experiencing greater family stress. Possibly you're not used to being under the same roof so much, and everyone is experiencing their own emotions, their own frustration, their own anxiety. And I mean, you might be letting it out on each other, so it might create a lot of stress within the family as well. You might be finding it difficult to adjust to this new routine, to this new lifestyle, or a lack of routine and lack of schedule. And we're going to talk about that soon as well. Some of you may be finding it difficult to get motivated. I've spoken to a couple of adolescents and they're finding it very difficult to, come on, get up, let's do some work. They're finding it difficult to find that motivation, to find that inside of them. And oversleeping it has also been another problem, both oversleeping and undersleeping. So some people are finding it very difficult to sleep because they're anxious and they're worried and there are a lot of thoughts and emotions going on, while others are oversleeping because they might not have much to do, they're bored, so they just sleep because there's nothing else to do. And that can result in a lot of difficulties. Basically, once you wake up, you're feeling less motivated then because you've slept so much and you're feeling irritable and, unfocused. Also, it then might result in difficulties with sleeping at night, and you might change your sleeping pattern, sleeping really late and waking up really late, and that has also a disruption both physically and mentally. Also, there has been an increase in screen time, and there are the positives and the negatives, okay? I mean, it's good that we actually have screens and we actually have internet to connect with people right now, to learn, to entertain ourselves. But at the same time, an excess of it, so a day spent on the internet or watching movies or whatever, can have negative effects, and we'll talk about them really soon. So basically, here are the tips. Okay, I'm going to give a couple of tips that you might find interesting and you might want to try, both for your physical and mental well-being. All you teens out there, take note. So basically, one thing that has brought about all these emotions and all this, anxiety and feeling bad is that all of a sudden your routine and your schedule is gone. So it's really important that you still create a schedule and a routine at home. So I would suggest that the night before you schedule your next day and you add a bit of homework, a bit of schoolwork, possibly you have lessons, you add a bit of fun, a bit of relaxation, possibly a bit of family time, and you have slots of time at each time what you're going to do. I mean, it doesn't have to be a super rigid schedule where you have to, follow the routine and you have to, and you're disappointed if you don't, but you actually have something to wake up to and something to look forward to. So get up, get into the shower, put on some nice as in, but don't stay in your PJs, put on a hoodie or whatever, something that you're comfortable in, but it's not the PJs, because if you're in your pajamas all day, if you're in bed all day, it might result in feeling lethargic, you don't have much energy. So get out of bed and get going. Have a shower, get out of bed. You have your schedule, follow that schedule. I would suggest that you also have some routine within the family. So, say you plan with your family to have your lunch at a certain time and your dinner at a certain time, so that you know you still have some stability. I would also suggest that you wake up and you sleep at more or less the same time, possibly not school time, but maybe weekend time, so that you know more or less what time you're going to sleep, what time you're going to wake up, and you're up and you're going. You know, have time as well for relaxation, so you don't have to be on the go all day. But now you know that at that time you're going to do some schoolwork, and then for a couple of hours after you're going to relax, and then you have your hobbies to do, and you have a full day, a packed day, and you're actually motivated to get up and get that day going and crush that day. Also, screen time, as I said before, as I mentioned, it has there are very positive aspects of screen time. If it wasn't for for the screens and for the internet right now, we wouldn't be doing this open day, and we wouldn't be connecting with our clients, with our families, with our friends. So it's very important. But spending a day on your phone, spending a day on your laptop or on the PlayStation or on the computer can have negative effects, both physically, so on your eyes, on your posture, you're sitting down all day, you're hunched, you're not getting any physical activity, and also mentally, so your motivation gets lower, you're not motivated to do much. Your thoughts start coming up even more because you're not doing much. Okay, so if you're scrolling on social media all the time, that can have also negative effects because you're looking at a lot of new stuff. We're going to talk about that soon, about COVID and what's going on. So I would suggest that you actually schedule your screen time as well. So you have a certain schedule. At that time you're going to be online, and it's just at that time. So try not to spend the whole day online, the whole day watching movies or playing. It can have an effect even on your sleep. So it stimulates your brain, and it might result in a lack of sleep, okay, a lack of motivation. So try to schedule that and reserve that time for screen time. Also, another important thing is to reserve your bed for sleep. Okay, I've spoken to a couple of adolescents who are spending most of their day in bed. Okay, and that results in lack of motivation and feeling sad and not feeling very good in yourself. Besides sitting down in bed all day or lying down in bed all day, you won't be doing much exercise and you won't be moving around much, and that might also result in sleeping difficulties then at night. So I would suggest that you just sleep in bed. And once you're up, you're going. Okay. And I mean going, it's not going boom, boom, boom from one thing to another. But, if you're doing schoolwork, stay on your desk. If you're doing a hobby, don't stay on your bed, if you have an option. Because unfortunately, there are people who don't have an option. But if you do have an option, go in the kitchen, go in another room, maybe, I don't know, on the roof, on the balcony, whatever, but try to avoid staying in bed all day. Reserve the bed for sleeping. Okay. Also, something very important is to utilize relaxation techniques. I know that, especially if you're feeling a bit sad and a bit anxious, and I know that some of you are actually feeling that way, relaxation techniques are brilliant for everyone. Okay, so maybe some deep breathing exercises, maybe some yoga or some meditation or mindfulness. I know that after my session, there's going to be Petra Spiteri talking about mindfulness, so you can listen up for that. And if you have no idea where you're going to start from, you never tried these things, there are loads of things on YouTube that you can find. There are loads of apps. And also at Polaris, I know that there are specialized people giving mindfulness courses, so maybe you can also ask regarding mindfulness to one of our professionals at Polaris, but there are loads of options. Okay, so if you've never tried it out, do try it out. Maybe get some advice or some help from a professional, and then there's loads of material that you can look for. Also, calming music. Maybe before you go to bed or during the day, just put on some relaxing, nice, calming music and some candles, possibly. It will make you feel very good. Reading is also a means of calming down. So try to find your space. Okay, I know that most of you don't really like reading or don't like it much, but maybe you can find a book that you really like. That, I mean, not a school book, not a textbook, but some story that you really love. And find some time, go on the balcony, go on the roof, and enjoy some free, quiet time with your book. I love doing that. That's why I'm talking so passionately about reading. Also, another thing that I've mentioned a little bit before is there is loads of news going around the world right now regarding COVID and I mean the horrible situations in some countries and even I mean in Malta there have been a couple of horrible situations. So if you're going to be on the internet all day and you know news is coming up all the time and you're searching, that's going to make you feel even worse. So I would suggest that you have a particular site that you look for news if you want to stay updated. I mean, it's very important to stay updated, to know what's going on, but you'll have that particular site where you check the news and that's it. Don't stay scrolling around all day and looking for information and finding, you know, bad news here and there. It will make you feel so much worse. Also, I know that social media, a lot of people are posting negative information, not negative information, I mean it's actually going on, so it's not negative but it affects us negatively. So limit your time. And if you see that you're on a particular app where a lot of people are posting bad news, try to avoid going on that app, especially if you're feeling bad about it, you know, if it's affecting you. You might not even know that it's affecting you. So I would suggest that you limit the amount of information that you have and just find a reliable source. Also, a lot of information on Facebook, for example, isn't real information. So not everything that you see on social media is real. That is another thing to keep in mind. Also, since unfortunately we can't meet our friends and all of our family members right now, I would suggest you find creative ways how to do that. So I mentioned, you know, video calls before and screen time. Yes, that can be great, and maybe having um, your family, I don't know, meeting on a particular video call app with another family, maybe your cousins or whatever, or a group of friends all together. That can be fun. But also try other ways. For example, going under someone's balcony and just waving or behind a window. You know, possibly your grandparents or maybe older family members don't use the internet, so they don't have connection with anyone right now. So it would be so nice for them to actually see you, even if it's just under their balcony waving, you know, or behind the window. So use these creative ways. Send a letter, send a delivery. There are loads of people doing deliveries right now. So send someone a delivery, some, I don't know, healthy sweets or flowers or whatever, you know, you can actually make their day and you'd feel good about yourself as well. Also, another important thing is staying active. I would suggest that in that schedule that I mentioned at the beginning of my presentation, the first step was the schedule. I would suggest that you do schedule a bit of exercise every day. It's so important for your physical health, for your mental health. It has loads of benefits. So even if it's just a couple of minutes every day, it's very important. As I said, there are loads of videos, there are loads of people providing free classes online. So just go online and I'm sure you'll find something that you like. I mean, if it's not a class, maybe you like something creative like dancing and aerobics and Zumba, whatever. There's everything online. So you can find anything. Or maybe you decide to go for a walk, keeping social distance, somewhere safe where there aren't lots of people. I mean, there are so many things that can keep you active right now. There are so many videos and variations that you can find online. So, I mean, sitting around all day will not make you feel good. So get your body moving. Also, another important thing, another important tip is watching what you eat and drink. Okay, so I know that there's a presentation about this later on. I'm just going to say just one thing. What you eat and what you drink can affect you so much, can affect your mood, can affect your motivation, can affect your sleep. So if you're sitting around all day eating crisps and junk and burgers, it's going to have a negative impact both on your physical body, and we all know that, but even on your mental body. Okay, so make sure that you're still eating healthy, that you're still taking care of yourself. And the next point is self-care. So take some time to take care of yourself. So I don't know, make a mask, for example, or have a nice bath with candles, or I don't know, for the boys, maybe groom themselves, shave their beards, or arrange their hair, or whatever, be creative. It's nice to have this time to care for yourself. Maybe usually we're ongoing from one thing to another, so this is the time to take care of ourselves. Also, maybe you can start a new hobby. Um, there might have been so many things that you've been wanting to do and you never had the time to. So take this time to really find what you've wanted to do and you haven't done, and find a new hobby. There are many hobbies that you can do at home. Maybe some ideas are art. Okay, if you don't know how to draw, there are also tutorials online how to draw and how to learn art. Maybe a new instrument. Maybe I don't know, one of your family members has an instrument at home and you want to try it. There's also tutorials online how to play that instrument, so you can teach yourself how to play that instrument. Or maybe, I don't know, try on some makeup tutorials and try on some makeup on yourself or on another family member, or hair. Maybe, I don't know, some hairstyles, or possibly cooking. So find recipes online, maybe get books as well delivered, and go always safely to the grocery store, maybe go with one of your parents, or maybe get it delivered, even safer. Get the ingredients delivered and make a nice recipe for yourself and for your family. So there are so many things that you can do, and I would suggest that you find a new hobby, something that you're passionate about, something that you might not have tried any other time because you never had the time to. Also, sleep is important. So before I mentioned that oversleeping can be a problem, even undersleeping can be a problem. So a problem as in it can have negative effects for your physical and mental body. So I would suggest that you sleep 7 to 8 hours a day. And I would suggest that you actually schedule them. So what time you're sleeping more or less, and what time you're waking up more or less, and put on that alarm so that you get up and get going. Also, if you're not feeling so good, I would suggest that you do open up. Okay, so maybe you can speak to a friend online, or maybe to an adult that you trust at home, or maybe look out for a professional. Most of us at Polaris are giving our services online, so maybe if you're not feeling so good and you really want to speak to someone, maybe you can ask one of your parents to get in touch if you're still under 18, to get in touch with Polaris. You can get in touch through the Facebook page, and there are different services that can be provided online as well. Also, another suggestion, another tip is that you journal what you're experiencing and what you're feeling. So, I don't know, you can actually journal by writing down. So you get a diary and you journal your experiences and what you're feeling right now. Or maybe you can be creative by doing a video blog, for example. Maybe you can join the family in this video blog, or maybe a scrapbook, and take pictures and put them in the scrapbook, have everyone write on it, and write your experiences and your feelings during this time. Means of expressing yourself, of letting it out. And at the same time, you can look back at it and say, yes, I survived the pandemic at the time. And maybe later you can tell your children and your grandchildren about it. And even just looking at it yourself, and see what you went through and the feelings you experienced and the emotions and, I don't know, the actual experience in itself. Also, another thing that is linked to my previous tip is be kind to yourself. So I've mentioned that many of you might be having particular feelings, maybe feelings that are not making you feel so good, and it is okay to feel that way. So be kind to yourself. So whenever these feelings come up, acknowledge that you're feeling that way and accept, because it's okay to be feeling that way. Okay, especially during this time. And then you can speak to someone if you want to let it out, and if you want help, or if you want, I don't know, just someone to blurt it out with. Speak to an adult, maybe ask this adult to look for help for you. Also, and this is for the parents, um, parents, I would suggest that you allow some downtime for your teens. Okay, many teens are used to, having their time, their independent time, their free time, and all of a sudden you're all at home, and they might be feeling a bit overwhelmed, especially if they don't have their own bedroom, for example, and they don't have their own free time. So teens crave that privacy. So I would suggest that you do give them a little bit of privacy, maybe to have a video call with a friend, or maybe they just want to have some time reading quietly by themselves, or maybe creating something. But that downtime, that privacy, I feel that little privacy is important for teens. Also, planning forward is important. So stop focusing on what is going on now, on the negative things that are going on now, even though you should, I would suggest that you do actually do something that you enjoy every single day. Okay, one thing that you enjoy, you should schedule one thing you enjoy every single day, but plan forward. So plan your goals for when all this is over, what you want to do, what you want to achieve, maybe a country you want to travel to, and maybe you can search online for where you can go and what you can do in that particular country. So plan forward. Maybe, and this the parents are going to love as well, maybe take on new responsibilities at home. So it will give you a sense of purpose, to help out in the chores, or help out, maybe have younger siblings and you can help them with their schoolwork or teach them something. It's nice, and you have a sense of purpose. Also, we should try maybe planning family events, family activities at home. So possibly a games night, or a movie night, or a cooking night, or cooking afternoon, or maybe a really fun thing that you can do is recreating old photos. So find old photos and recreate them now with your family. Maybe call grandparents. I don't know, find creative things that you can do with your family. I don't know, plan a games night, charades, popcorn, movies. Make it fun, be creative. Another thing that can, maybe at this time you're feeling like you can't do much, you don't feel like you have much of a purpose because you can't do much because you're still young. So one thing that can give you purpose right now, an idea, is to declutter your wardrobe, declutter your shelves, and anything that is still in good condition but that you don't need anymore, you can give it to donation. As a donation, sorry, to a voluntary organization, or to anyone that is going maybe through a tougher time than you are right now. And you get a sense of purpose with doing that, and a sense of gratitude. I mean, they feel a sense of gratitude towards you, but you feel, good to actually do that. And that way you'd be showing acts of kindness to other people as well. And do show acts of kindness even during this time, Think of the people who might be going through a worse time than you. Maybe, I don't know, a grandparent who's stuck alone, or I don't know, any family member who is alone at home, and maybe some people have lost their jobs and don't have an income right now. So I would suggest that you do text them, you call them, you make them feel good at this particular time. That brings me to my end, exactly on time. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that these tips have helped you. And if you do have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section here, and I'll get back to you after I finish this presentation. Or you can get in touch through Polaris Facebook page, and they can ask me to contact you maybe if you have any questions towards me, directed to me. Also, you can get through to me, as I said, through Facebook page, even if you want a session, for all you teens out there, or any parents who have teens and want to meet with me, to have a session, or need help, or want to ask anything, please get in touch through Polaris Facebook page. Also, these taster sessions are free of charge, but if you feel like you can donate something, we would appreciate a lot if you can help us, can support us to support you further. Thank you so much. Once again, I wish you a great day. Next up is Petra Spiteri talking about mindfulness for parents and for kids. So follow that. I'm sure it's super interesting. Thank you. Have a great day.